Pi buddhang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Okay, friends, could everybody hear me over there? Out there?
Yes, Bhante, we can hear you.
Okay. Of course, when I was doing the chanting, I probably speaking a little louder than I normally might when I'm just, giving a guided meditation or talking, but I'll try to speak up louder. So welcome to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation. And tonight, the topic we're reviewing is the Anapanasati Suta, or the Mindfulness of Breathing Sutta. And that's number 118 in the Majjhima Nikaya. We've gone over this the first time previously, and I hope that some of you were able to hear the recording. I know sometimes because I send it out on Sundays or Mondays, people may not have enough time to listen to that. Maybe I should try to send it out earlier. But anyway, so the Anapanasati Sutta is one of the main, one of the 2 or 3 main suttas that the Buddha taught on the meditation. And most of the meditations found within Buddhism, especially the important ones, are the mindfulness of breathing, developing concentration, and the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Now, last week we went over the 4 foundations of mindfulness. And so when I'm talking about discussing this Anapanasati Sutta, I'm going to be contrasting aspects of how that pertains also to the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Because the first part of the mindfulness, 4 foundations of mindfulness, is mindfulness of the body, which starts with mindfulness of breathing. So this Anapanasati Sutta is just an elaboration of the mindfulness of breathing. It's the same the same instructions, the beginning instructions that you find in the mindfulness of the body section on the foundations of mindfulness. So in this particular Anapanasati Sutta, the Buddha goes through 16 kind of stages of the development of the concentration. Now, normally the Anapanasati Sutta is said to be the method for developing more deeper level of one-pointed concentration, and also to attain the jhanas. But even when in the foundations of mindfulness, people also can attain the jhanas. But in this particular sutra, it seems to be emphasized a little bit more, because the mindfulness of breathing is given more attention throughout the whole sutta. Whereas in the 4 foundations of mindfulness, mindfulness of breathing is let go of in that first part of the first section. So, but in this sutta, mindfulness is continued throughout the whole practice. But it's also an insight practice, as we will see. So, I'm not going to repeat the sort of introduction of of the sutta, because I would encourage you to reread the sutta or re-listen to it rather than repeating that now, because we want to keep this. This is just a basic review. So the person sits down in a straight posture and then breathing in and out long. He simply knows that he's breathing in long or breathing out long, and or breathing in short or breathing out short. So that means that to really follow those sensations of breathing in and breathing out. So you know that it's a short breath or it's a long breath. So it requires you to stay really focused on the breathing. And then as you're doing that, you get a little bit concentrated. Now the next section is experiencing the whole breath body. That means before you might just experience the in breath and the out breath, but maybe not the pause in between. And maybe because the concentration is still not probably strong, you see just the coarse breath. You just feel it as kind of one breath. So now, as you continue to the next section on experiencing the whole breath body breathing in and the whole breath body breathing out, that includes the pause in between, because it's a connecting. You're connecting the in breath to the out breath, because before the mind was probably still wandering. You felt an in breath and the mind wandered. You brought it back, and then maybe you caught the last of the out breath, and the mind wandered again. So it's kind of sporadic in that first section. It's sporadic. Now in the second section, you're getting more concentrated. And so the whole breath body means connecting the breaths without the mind getting lost. So you see all the sensations of the in-breath and the pause. And then you see the sensations of the out-breath and the pause without losing your attention. And so it's a deeper level of concentration. And then the third section of that is tranquilizing the bodily formation. And so that means that the breath is getting more refined, and that alludes to the fact that you're getting more concentrated. So as you gain more concentration, the breath becomes finer, because you don't need to breathe so much. So the breath becomes usually shorter and more kind of faint, because the need for oxygen gets less. The body's a self-regulating organism. So because you've been sitting still already, probably practicing this section for 10 or 15 minutes, by that time, the body also would have become stilled and the need for oxygen less. So that is how the tranquilizing the bodily formation or the breathing gets tranquilized, as well as other parts of the body. Now, by the time you reach this level, you should be in the first jhana. And then it automatically goes into the second section of the experiencing rapture breathing in and experiencing rapture breathing out, because rapture and happiness are two of the jhanic factors of the first jhana. So that means you have reached a jhana at this level. And then you're also experiencing pleasure breathing out and pleasure breathing in. So you're still aware of the breathing, but you're also aware of these feelings of pleasure and the rapture. So the rapture is more like a physical feelings, but the pleasure is a more mental, refined level. So in this section, you're also practicing the first second foundation of mindfulness, which is the mindfulness of feelings, because these rapturous and pleasurable feelings are fulfill that part of mindfulness of the feelings. And then experiencing the mental formations, breathing in, and experiencing the mental formations, breathing out, because by now you're already in the first or second jhana. And so the mind has become very acute, and you can see the perceptions very clearly, and you can see the mind states very clearly, much clearly than you could do when you were only in that first level before reaching the state of the jhana. So the mental formations that it mentions, experiencing the mental formations, breathing in, mental formations, breathing out, that is the perception and the feelings that you are experiencing. And then the next section of that is tranquilizing the mental formations. And that is where the perception and the feelings become more tranquilized and more refined. And and this would also be reaching the second jhana, because the mental formations still could include thought. So in the first jhana, there still could be some applied and sustained thought, but in the second jhana, in tranquilizing the mental formations, that means the thoughts subside, because that's one of the hallmarks of the second jhana, is that the applied and sustained thought are let go of. And then we're coming to the third section, or the third of those four groups, what are called the tetrads. Breathing in and out, experiencing the mind, in and out, gladdening the mind, breathing in and out, concentrating the mind, breathing in and out, liberating the mind. So this section is also kind of overlapping, repeating and overlapping many of the things that you were experiencing in the previous section, but now you're in a deeper level of concentration, and you're getting into probably in the third jhana. So all those, the jhanic factors, and then at the end of that third section is breathing in, liberating the mind, breathing out, liberating the mind. And so during this whole time, you're also liberating the mind from what? Well, liberating it from the hindrances, any residual hindrances that might be there, and also any of the grosser jhanic factors. So you're liberating the mind from vitaka and vichara. You're liberating the mind from piti and sukha, because by the time you've reached the third jhana, in the fourth jhana, you've even let go of piti and sukha, that the pleasure, rapture and pleasure as well, and are entering into equanimity. So the liberating the mind means liberating the mind from any of those grosser jhanic factors, and also any of the imperfections of insight. So if you're developing the insight along at the same time, those sections on the imperfections, or what is the path and what is the not path, is in the insight knowledges that we went over before. We talked about getting attached to any lights or visions that you might see in the meditation. You have to let go of them to be able to, get the mind on the right path of seeing the impermanence and the emptiness of all those phenomena. So that third section is basically, should be reaching the fourth jhana. By that time, you should have reached the fourth jhana, or at least the third jhana. And using the breathing the whole time that you're using the breathing. And then in this fourth section, or of the 16 stages, this would be the stage out of the 16 stages, this would be the stage of, I think, 12, 13, 14, 15, or I guess it's 13, 14, 15, and 16, if you're counting. So this is where you begin insight, where you're beginning the insight. And that means contemplating impermanence, breathing in, and then contemplating impermanence, breathing out. And this means you're seeing how quickly each sensation connected with the breathing just arises and vanishes, and how each moment the mind and consciousness is arising and vanishing. That's contemplating impermanence, and that only can happen when the mind is in the third or the fourth jhana, because only then does the mind become crystal clear to see that. And then because you're contemplating the impermanence, and it can be impermanence to any of the body sensations or anything that arises within the body and mind. Then breathing in and out, contemplating fading away. That means as you develop that perception of impermanence and things are just arising and vanishing very quickly, as I have mentioned many times in previous talks, especially the insight knowledges. By this time, you're in the insight knowledges, that rise and fall, those knowledges we went over, a couple of weeks ago, and I've mentioned them many times. And also the enlightenment factors. By this time, the enlightenment factors are also developed, and that enlightenment factor of investigating the Dhamma, that means seeing how everything is, arising and vanishing. And so things seem to fade away. The mind at that time the perceptions are not coming up to identify any of the objects because they're arising and vanishing so quickly that the reality of things kind of vanishes, because it's our perception and then the thoughts about these objects that allow us to identify objects and then think about them. But when the mind is developed into this very deep state of concentrated awareness and is seeing this impermanence at this very deep level, then the mind, that creating process of the mind starts to dissolve. And I've mentioned this before. And even the sense of the ego might start fading away too. And then objects will seem to cease. It can be, you'll reach a state of awareness in which things seem to have just ceased. And that's why contemplating cessation, breathing in, contemplating cessation, breathing out, where the conditioned mind basically has ceased to function in its ordinary way. And you're no longer identifying anything that's going on really around you. And the cessation, the sense of the I and self fades away more and more and more and more. until he could end up in actually entering the stream, where you transcend that ego consciousness altogether. And then the last section is the breathing in and out, contemplating relinquishment. That means the mind has relinquished every type of identification and attachment to any of the five aggregates or the six senses and any type of real perceptions and thoughts. And that could result in, reaching the, as I already mentioned, entering the stream or any of those stages of enlightenment. So that last section in particular, contemplating impermanence, fading away, cessation, and relinquishment, this is the development of the insight and the development of those insight knowledges to the point of then the change of lineage and the conformity and change of lineage takes place, and you could attain easily one of those stages of enlightenment, or entering the stream, or perhaps even further stage. So the Buddha, he finishes talking about these 16 stages of the Anapanasati. And then he goes on to say these, and that last section also, the fourth section of the Anapanasati Suta, fulfills the same as the fourth foundation of mindfulness. So each of these four, what are called tetrads, there's four little sections in each of those larger sections, relates to those first four stages I mentioned. You're contemplating the body. The second four stages, you're contemplating the feelings. The third stages is more contemplating the mind. And this fourth stage is contemplating the mental objects, or contemplating the Dhamma. So that fourth stage, last four stages that we just talked about, contemplating impermanence, fading away, cessation, relinquishment. This would be similar to developing those the factors of enlightenment and realizing the Four Noble Truths. So it accomplishes the four foundations of mindfulness. And then the Buddha says this practice of Anapanasati fulfills the four foundations of mindfulness. So when you're practicing it in this way, you are basically fulfilling the same functions and reach the same levels as if you were just practicing the four foundations of mindfulness by itself. Of course, that includes, the breathing awareness up to a certain level. And the four foundations of mindfulness fulfill the seven factors of enlightenment. And that's because the seven factors of enlightenment is the fifth section of the Dhammanupassana. So that because the Anapanasati fulfills the four foundations of mindfulness, it also fulfills the seven factors of enlightenment. They're being developed as you are practicing this. And the seven factors of enlightenment lead to the knowledge and vision of release. It leads to those attaining the four stages of enlightenment. So that's the basic, the outline of that the Anapanasati Sutta. And the important thing that to take away from that, or that I wanted to try to have you understand, is that even though people talk about Anapanasati and they say, I practice Anapanasati and I have some idea what that leads to, usually they're thinking it leads just to jhana and attaining the jhanas. And, a lot of people get stuck in those jhanas and they don't really come out. They only practice one part of the Anapanasati Suta. They don't go to at least to the third and fourth stages. They only practice the first stage of the Anapanasati Suta in gaining the jhanas, but a lot of people don't go on to develop the insight from them. And it's very clear that the Buddha didn't say you come out of the jhanas and then you start developing insight. And that's a misconception that a lot of people have. They think that you attain the jhanas and you have to come out of the jhanas in order to contemplate these things. But in this sutta, he doesn't say you're coming out of these jhanas. They're going right into, into that, the development of insight also. And when you have read other suttas and the Buddha is talking about attaining the jhanas, he mentions, and one attains the fourth jhana with purified mindfulness and equanimity, and he then bends his attention to the destruction of the defilements. And he doesn't mention that you have to come out of the jhana and then to contemplate that. But anyway, that's that's another point of discussion amongst scholars and practitioners, I guess. So now, having done that review, I want to open it up to see if there's any questions about any of that. And if not, no one had sent in any written questions. And I don't see anybody has written. Okay, it seems to be we have one in-house question here.
Should we feel the sensation of the breath? Like it's like you have to feel the breath going in all the way and then pause and now coming out. So where would you advise to feel that sensation of coming in and out of the breath?
Well, that also is a point of, you could say, a difference amongst different teachers. Now, in the Sri Lankan tradition, normally, or the Visuddhimagga interpretation of the Anapanasati, in the suttas, in the suttas itself, the Buddha never specifically mentions to focus the attention at the tip of the nose to feel the sensations there. He simply says, establishing mindfulness up front. And up front can mean just being alert and being very attentive in the present moment. But many teachers have taken that and used that sensation at the tip of the nose to feel that touch of air, and they combine this with contemplating the air element, because as you're feeling that air element go in and out, then it said you're contemplating the air element. But it takes a very strong degree of concentration to maintain, because it's a very subtle sensation. And so not everybody can feel that very easily. So it takes a lot more practice probably and a lot more time to develop that ability to feel that sensation, so that sensation holds your attention and you just feel it as it kind of goes in and then out. And the sensation of that in-breath and the out-breath might be different. And if you're able to do that, the mind gets very concentrated. And by doing that, you may lose your awareness of things going on around you, because it's like really looking through like a little pinhole to try to keep your attention on that small point. That's why other teachers, and myself included, I recommend people to, if they find that difficult to feel and hold that sensation there, and especially after practicing the 4 foundations of mindfulness, to use the rising and falling and to feel the expanding and contracting sensation of the abdomen or the sensations of the breathing. I encourage people just to feel, any of the sensations, focus in the center of the body to feel the sensation of expanding and contracting. Or you feel it on the abdomen, you feel it on maybe on the rib cage, where the clothing, the touch of the clothing is rubbing against the skin. That's what you will feel when the lungs are expanding and contracting. That's the primary sensation, would be that touch feeling of the clothing against the skin. And there's lots of little sensations connected with that. And so it's a little bit easier to feel that than feeling the touch sensation at the tip of the nose. And that's why also in the, let's say, the Mahasi Sayadaw system of Vipassana, they also use that kind of breathing, although they focus more just on the expanding and contracting, or they call it rising and falling, of the abdomen. But whichever one of those focuses helps you to get concentrated, you can use that. And some people might be able to use that focus on the sensation of the air going in and out. And if you can, fine. But I've seen this happen in a lot of people, and even in myself in the beginning, the mind became so quiet and absorbed in that, it was difficult to really feel and be aware of other things going on around you in order to contemplate impermanence and according to the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So in my view, the using the touch sensation in the tip of the nose is more suitable for developing that one pointed concentration. And then some people gain that little nimitta of light, and they're able to attain those 4 jhanic levels using that nimitta, or that subtle touch sensation of the breathing. But again, the danger of that is because of the piti and the sukha arise, and it's very pleasurable. People really don't want to come out of that. And so, like I said, they reach the first 4 levels of the Anapanasati Suta, tranquilizing of the breath, and then a lot of them don't go beyond to develop that insight into, the mind, and the carrying that on to develop the insight into impermanence and so on. Now, if you can do that, that's okay. But if not, this other method of using the breathing, and you can attain, even though there's lots of controversy about whether you can attain jhana using the expanding and contracting sensations of the breathing, but that's more suitable for practicing the mindfulness of the body, because it keeps you more centered in the physical body. Okay. So if
Bhante,
anybody out there, and
I have a question about what is applied and sustained thought. What is the difference, and how do you explain these two?
well, again, there's differences in opinion on that, and it's because the words that are used in Pali have been translated by different translators, and they've translated these words in different ways. So in some suttas, some translators have used the actual words applied and sustained thought. But other teachers say applied and sustained or initial application of mind. So application of mind, the way that it's often described is, you're placing your attention, let's say on the sensation at the tip of the nose, and it's that applying the attention there, but it doesn't involve any thought. And then you sustain that attention is the continued. So the applied, there's a lot of echo in there, right? But so the applied thought is, the initial effort to put your attention on the object, but then it doesn't stay there very much, it wanders. So so after doing that over and over, applying and applying and applying, finally you get the sustained thought. That means the mind isn't wandering so much anymore, and it's sustaining that attention on the object. So that is what means the applied and sustained attention or thought. Now you can use a thought with it too, like a repetition of a thought, like in the Thai forest tradition, they may mentally recite Bud on the in-breath and Do on the out-breath. Or as I suggest when I'm giving these guided meditations here, to make the note of just remember, in sitting, out sitting. So in, it's a kind of a thought and you're applying it, but that means applied thought. To remember that it's an in-breath and not an out-breath. And then the out-breath, you're aware of the out-breath, or just simply repeating breathing in, sitting, breathing out, sitting. These are just two simple words. It's not a lot of thinking. It's just a brief little word, breathing in, sitting, breathing out, sitting. So you're applying your mind that and trying to sustain it there. But then in the second jhana, by the time you attain the first jhana, then those words that you've been using would be let go of. You let go, you no longer have to use those words because the mind is already concentrated by the time you reach the second jhana. So those words and so on, and you don't have to apply your mind anymore because the mind has reached the fixed concentration. So you use applied and sustained thought only to reach the first jhana. And to enter the second jhana, those words, you don't have to apply anymore because the mind has already reached that concentrated level.
It is already sustained, in other words.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't no longer have to make effort at it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an analogy given to applied and sustained thought of applied thought is like, okay, I'm going to ring the bell. Okay, so when I struck the bell, that was the applied thought. And the reverberation that continues after that initial striking the bell, that's a sustained thought. It's the attention that's sustaining on the object, without applying the mind over and over it. Okay?
Yeah, thanks, Bhante.
Any other
Bhante,
questions?
Bhante, can you hear me?
Yes.
Bhante, the four jhanas have experiences, piti, sukha, and piti, and tranquility, and other experiences associated with each one of them. Are there any experiences for the insight knowledges too?
You get those same experiences in insight knowledge, yes. Because if you look at the four foundations of mindfulness again, in the Dhammanupassana, when you contemplate when you're developing the 7 factors of enlightenment, you also get that joy and the happiness is there. So Yeah, they might not be as strong as what you might get if you're practicing just the jhanas itself without going on to contemplating the insights. They may be more stronger in it, but you still get parts of it. Yes, you feel rapturous feelings because even in practicing the foundations of mindfulness, you can reach the jhana level too. I mean, the first foundation of mindfulness, mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of breathing, leads up to the first jhana. And then from there you go into the body. You're aware of the, because by that time the mind is very concentrated, and you can start contemplating the four elements and the vibrations, and that's what allows you. So you get the jhana factors too, but it may not be as intense, maybe, especially the piti and the sukha.
Thank you, Bhante.
Any other questions?
So, Bhante, what is the relation between relation of breath with the body, with the mind, and the awareness? How breath works as a conduit between all the three?
Bhante, can you please repeat the question? We could not hear the question.
Yeah, I was going to repeat that. So the question was, how does the breath, the body, the mind? No,
Like how
just tell me.
what is the relation between the what is the
No, I will repeat it. Just tell me. Repeat it to me. The relationship between the breathing, the body, the feelings, the mind.
so there are three components: mind, body, and awareness. How breath allows us to like put it all together, like come into synchronization.
The breath holds the mind in the present moment. That allows you to see them. I mean, our consciousness rides on the breath. As soon as you stop breathing, you're going to die, right? The consciousness. So, the breath is, of course, important. But the breath really, it allows you to keep the mind in that calm level so that you can contemplate those other things.
And did Buddha recommend any other object beside breath, which is as universal or as?
We can't hear anything, Bhante. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Can't hear anything. The question, I mean, we can hear you, but we couldn't hear the question.
Okay, the mic is coming to the speaker. Anyway, the question was, is there any other object that the Buddha used to?
How it is universal, how the breath is like such a powerful object for contemplation, and it's like very easy to access and use it. Is there any other like similar? Is there any other object Buddha recommends, or do you think?
Because the breath can disappear. The breath can disappear in the later jhanas, and then that doesn't mean your meditation stops. You contemplate the mind. Now you're aware of the subtle ether of the mind and consciousness, which is even subtler than breath. So all those mental objects, that is what you're contemplating. The subtler vibrations. After the breathing and body is, ceased even, there's still subtle mind waves and awareness. That is even more subtle than the breathing. Okay, friends, these are difficult questions, and only when you've, reached very deep levels of meditation and awareness over and over and over again, then these different aspects might become more clear, the various connections between breath, body, feelings, mind, consciousness, awareness. And these are all, very subtle phenomena. And that's why it takes an extraordinary deep level of concentration, such as the fourth jhanic level of concentration, to be able to perfectly, clearly see all of these very subtle phenomena. Okay? Okay, so let's now take a short break and then come back in a few minutes and have a short yoga stretching session and then our meditation. Okay? See you back in a few minutes. Friends, stand straight, relax your arms at the sides, close the eyes, feel your feet pressing the floor. Try to feel the height and weight of the body over the feet. And begin some deep, slow breathing, taking 2 or 3 seconds to expand the abdomen, rib cage, and chest, holding the air in the lungs, 2 or 3 seconds. Feel that pause, and feel the out breath, and feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. Just take a few more deep, slow breaths like that, charging up all the cells with oxygen, cultivating this mindfulness. And breathing in, letting go of the past and future. And breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. And breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to begin coordinating this breathing with these several stretching exercises. You can open the eyes and follow as I lead you through that. On the next in breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten the arms, stretch your head back, stretch upward. On the out breath, turn the palms down, touch the top of the head. And again, in breath, palms up, straighten the arms. And bend back a little bit. Out breath, touch the top of the head. The third time, hold that upward stretch longer. And bend back a little more. Feel the sensation. And release the fingers. The out breath, arms back to the sides. Just keep feeling the body. Try to feel the increased body sensation. You can feel any subtle tingling sensations, pulsations. That's the beginning of feeling piti. Just remember the present moment of standing, standing, standing. Now with the next in breath, push up on the toes and raise the arms over the head in this way, facing the hands toward each other. Stretch up. Out breath, Come back down. Coordinate the breathing with the movement. In breath. Out. In. Out. Just relax. You'll keep feeling the subtle sensation. All the subtler sensations you might feel, the activated life force, cellular vibration, having been charged up with more oxygen. Remember standing. Just let your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Keep the sensation body in the front of the awareness. Feeling all the different sensations that arise. Next we'll do side bending. So on an in-breath, raise both arms up over the head. Keep the fingers and arms straight, close to your head. On the out-breath, bend over the right side as far as you comfortably can. Keep the arms parallel to each other, like railroad track. In-breath, lift up. And to the other side, out-breath. In breath up. Again to the right, out breath. In. Out. In. Once more to each side. The out breath, lower the arms, relax. Keep feeling the sensation, especially in the hands and fingers. Remember standing. Present moment of the body. We now spread the feet apart about 3 feet. Hold the hands together at the chest. Breathe in, hands over the head. On the out breath, lower the hands to the chest and bend the knees, lowering down. Keep the back upright. Feel the stretch in hips and knees. In breath all the way back up. Out. In. Out. The out breath arms back to the sides. Keep feeling the whole body. And feel the eyes and the sockets. And the point behind the eyes. Try to feel the outline. And the whole body. Feeling all those vibrations, pulsation, sensation, coming and going. The activated life force. Now hold the arms out to the sides. We do twisting from side to side. And breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. In breath, come back to the front. Let the feet turn with the body and then go to the other side with the next out breath. In breath, front. Then to the right, out breath. In breath. Out. Once more to each side. Lower the arms, relax. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel the arms and hands hanging at the side. Feel the clothing touching the skin on different places. Feel the eyes and the sockets. Feel all the subtle sensations. Now bring the legs back together. Just one last exercise, the head turning from right to left. On an in-breath, turn the head to the right. And look over your right shoulder. Out breath, turn 180 degrees back to the left. Look over the left shoulder. In breath to the right. Out, left. In breath right. Out, left. In breath, let the head stop in the middle. Feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating, activated life force, allowing the mind to rest in the present moment. Okay, we'll come back to our seats, get ready for the sitting. Try to sit straight, try to establish the natural inward curve of the lower spine. Keep the chin lifted up, level to the floor. Just gently close the eyes. Focus the attention down to feel where the buttocks press the seat. Try to focus the attention on that spot where the buttocks press the seat. And feel that sensation of hardness and those sensations. It's like looking down through a magnifying glass or telescope. And now feel your feet, where your feet press the floor, where they crossed underneath. Or feel the sensations of the socks touching the skin of the feet. And feel the toes. And feel some subtle sensation in the toe. Now move the attention to feel your hands and fingers. And feel where the hands or fingers touch together, they touch your body. You feel the outline of your thumbs and fingers. Feel those subtle sensations. Just remember that you're sitting. And feel the weight of the arms hanging from the shoulders. Relax the shoulders. Feel where the clothing touches the skin of the shoulders, arms, chest. You might feel the expanding and contracting of the breathing. Now feel the head balanced on top of the neck. And feel the sensations on the face, sensations of the skin stretched over the front of the skull. Feel the lips touching together. The upper lip touches the lower lip. And try to feel the tongue in the mouth. Where the tongue may touch your teeth. And now rest the attention on the eyes. Just feel the eyes in the socket. And the eyelids stretched over the eyeball. Feel the subtle eye movement. From that point behind the eyes, you let the awareness expand a little. You feel the outline of the whole body. The head on top, the arms at the sides, buttocks and feet pressing the floor underneath, clothing touching the skins on different places. Try to feel that outline of the body. Just remember sitting, present moment awareness. Then begin, now focus the attention on the, you can either try to focus your attention at the tip of the nose or in the nostrils. And take a few deep, slow breaths so you can feel the air moving through the nostrils. Hold the air in the lungs 1 or 2 seconds and feel the out breath. You can continue to use that focus of the air in the nostrils, or if you find it difficult to feel that, feel the expanding and contracting sensations of your abdomen, your rib cage. Or just sort of choose one of those spots to focus on, to practice the mindfulness of breathing. You can take a few deeper breaths in the beginning, develop this mindfulness, breathing in, letting go of the past and future, breathing out, sitting here and now, breathing in, letting go of the past and future, breathing out, sitting here and now. Now continue to either focus your attention on the touch of air in the nostrils or on the expanding and contracting movements, in the abdomen, rib cage, chest. We're going to try to count our breaths from 1 to 10, develop our concentration, the applied and sustained thought. And so the incoming breath, mentally count 1. On the outgoing breath, also count 1. In breath 2. Out breath 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. In 5. Out 5. In 6. Out 6. In 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. Out 9. In 10. out 10. Now discontinue the counting, but keep your attention focused on either of those spots. Air moving through the nostrils, or the expanding and contracting sensations, the abdomen, the rib cage. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. You know it by feeling it, feeling those subtle sensations. Just let the breathing return to its own rhythm without controlling. Be aware if the breath is a short breath or a long breath. Short breath would probably be just lasting 1 second. Longer breath, in breath lasting 2 or 3 seconds. Or the out breath. Each breath is different. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. It helps you to concentrate. You can make this taka, vichara, in, out, out. In, out, out. Be alert if any thoughts come to the mind, just let go of the thought. Keep the mind focused on the breathing. Try to notice the brief pauses between the breath. After the in-breath, there's a brief pause, a fraction of a second. And then the out-breath, and a brief pause after the out-breath before the next in-breath. It's connecting the breath. The pauses in between connect the breath. Connect the in-breath to the out-breath. The out-breath to the in-breath. To experiencing the whole breath body. Cultivating that applied and sustained thought, sustaining the attention longer and longer without getting distracted. Experiencing the whole breath body, breathing in, experiencing the whole breath body, breathing out. Tranquilizing the breathing in, tranquilizing the breath body, breathing out. Especially with each out breath, feel the body and mind getting more and more relaxed. Especially feeling the out breath, the last bit of air go out of the lung, feel that pause, deep tranquility. At some point, you might start to feel very subtle, pleasant sensations arising, the piti or the happiness. Experiencing that peace or pleasure, breathing in, experiencing the peace or pleasure, breathing out. Any thoughts or perceptions arise, just see them clearly as they just arise and quickly vanish, letting all remnants of thoughts gradually fade away, experiencing that deeper and deeper inner tranquility. Just begin to feel more other body sensations, subtle vibration in or around the breathing. Be aware of those feelings, subtle sensations coming and going. Even in or around the breathing awareness, other subtle bodily vibration. All these sensations, bodily sensations, are constantly changing. The in-breath coming and going, the out-breath coming and going. Any aches or pains, prickling sensations coming and going, along with the perception or any thoughts still kind of lingering in the back of the mind, coming and going. Breathing in, experiencing the mind. Breathing out, experiencing the mind. Being awareness, experiencing that deep awareness. Just be alert for any other sound, thoughts, sensations arising and vanishing within that still awareness, to that subtle breathing awareness. experiencing the grosser disturbances of body and mind fading away, a deeper and deeper stillness. Any of the ego's thoughts is fading away in the background. Take a few deep, slow breaths to bring the mind back to the body. Nati janam apanyacha anyanati ajaitu yam hi janancha panyacha siri nibbana santiki. There's no concentration without wisdom, no wisdom without concentration. One who is both concentrated and is wise is close to peace and freedom. And thus spoke the Buddha. Now, finished meditation, I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times. We do the chanting on a long out breath. Take a deep in breath. Now place your hands at the edge of the knees. Take one more deep breath. Stretch your head back. Pull the hands against the knees to arch your spine. And lift the head up on an in-breath. On the out-breath, press the chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. And lift the head up level on an in-breath. And relax on the out-breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends, so this brings our meditation to an end, and I hope doing that Anapanasati, you're able to gain some inner tranquility, and through that tranquility, being able to see subtler aspects of the body and mind. Okay, so try to keep up the meditation during the week, and to see you again next week here, same place, same time, over the airways. Okay.
This is Marcia. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Bhante.